Hey everyone, so I'm going to make this as quick as I can because, to be quite honest, it is 30 something degrees outside and I'm out here in my underwear. So, throughout this last year where I've been sharing my life with everyone, I've had many people either leave comments on my videos, my page, or personal message me about my transition and wanting to know how I knew that I was transgender. And I know that this is something that a lot of my trans brothers out there have covered and talked about, but since I get asked the question so many times and I spend a lot of time replying to people, I thought I'd just make a video about that. So, how I knew I was transgender. Honestly, I didn't. Not for a very long time. I didn't know the word. I didn't know that there were transgender people. I didn't know it was a thing. And I didn't know that there was a solution to how I felt inside. I was raised in a very conservative, religious household, and I was shielded a lot from anything but the religion in my life. And any of the feelings I was having about being different, I could not express. Absolutely not. So I did not know I was transgender. I didn't have a name for it. But what I did know is that from a very young age I was completely different from the other little girls, and what the little girls liked doing I didn't like doing, and how the little girls liked to dress I didn't like to dress, and I didn't even have the mannerisms of many of the little girls. And what I did have is I had a lot in common with the boys, and this was confusing for me because I know that I was told that I was a girl, and I was made to dress like a girl most of the time. So I often mistaked my admiration for the boys and the men and the yearning to be a boy or a man. I often mistook that for attraction, because I didn't know what attraction really felt like. So I thought, well, this must be what it is. So as I started growing older, I followed that because I thought, well, I'm supposed to be sexually with men. That's what I'm supposed to be. That's what girls do. So I continued to mistake this yearning to be male for attraction to men. And it wasn't for a very long time that I realized this is not how everybody else feels. And this is not how everyone else feels about their body when they're female. This isn't how everybody else thinks. And it took me a really long time because I'm a very introverted, reflective, sensitive type of person. So I don't spend a lot of time talking with people. I don't spend a lot of time talking with people. So because of that, I just didn't realize that no one else felt the way I felt about being female. So it wasn't until I reached a breaking point when I was like 25, and I left the relationship that I was in with a man, and I left the religion, and I left my family and all my friends, and I left the town that I lived in because that's what I had to do to get away. And I still didn't know I was transgender, but I thought I was a lesbian, which is somewhere that most, well, I don't want to say most, a lot of trans guys go to, because I don't know why, but so I figured, I identify more masculine, but I like women sexually, I must be a lesbian. So I started hanging out with the lesbian crew, and I felt better, but I then started noticing, well, I'm not like these women either. You know, they, most of them are comfortable with a little bit of feminine flair here and there, or they don't mind having their breasts, or the shape of their body, or they don't think like me. There is still no one like me in this group. I was still alone. And I still didn't have a name for what was going on because I was newly out of my religion, and I wasn't out in the world. So then one day I heard about the terminology transgender, and I started doing research, and I dove into the research, and I decided that that is what was going on for me, that I must be transgender, and everything made sense to me. And as soon as I found out what it was called and that there was an option, I became obsessed. There was no way that I was going to continue living with this body and with these social roles that had been given to me. It wasn't an option for me. I didn't have to take it anymore. And the fact that I knew that there was something else that could be done made being in a female body and living those female social roles even worse. And it became intolerable to me. And honestly, it came intolerable to the point that I was becoming suicidal. And that's an awful selfish place to get. But it's where I got. So that's my very long story about how I knew I was transgender. And in a nutshell, if I had to put it in one statement, it would probably be I could not live my life female any longer. There was no there was no doubt in my mind that this was right for me. And the reason why I'm using that statement is because it is a big choice to change your sex. And if you're not sure that this is right for you, and if you don't want this with your whole heart, then I'm afraid it would be difficult for a person to deal with all the difficulties that come from changing your sex. Because it is hard with your relationship. It is hard socially. It is hard with your friends. It is hard at work. It is hard with the simple interactions of the gas station that you're used to getting gas at, or the grocery store where you exchange friendly social interactions with all the checkers. There's always explaining. And it ends. Eventually it all ends. But you have to want it enough to make all of that okay. So I wanted it enough to make it all okay. And I'm a year into my transition now, and I'm still dealing with all of that every single day. But mentally, emotionally, and physically, I am feeling better about myself than I ever have, and more comfortable in my own skin and in my own social and family roles than I ever have been. So, that, in a nutshell, is my story. I am going to go inside now because it is free.